Welcome. Welcome to our Advanced Composition Showcase. We are so excited that you have joined us tonight. I have had the pleasure of indulging in the Advanced Composition course for the past 4 semesters, 2 of which with Professor Don Stappiello, 1 with Professor Corbin, and this semester with Professor D'Amato. In this course, we dig into our process, asking about the choices that we make, why we make them, and seeking to understand the context of the world in which we're making. So in class, this looks like games, improvisations, free writes, conversations and debates, wandering around campus, observing the world around us, and sometimes we even make a little bit of movement. But oftentimes, the movement making happens in the after hours, in the late night rehearsals, because the early morning classes are designed to challenge the way that we think and see, so that when we make, we can play. So one morning, we were finishing up an improvisation, and we were asked to do a free write. I grabbed my notebook, but I couldn't find my pencil anywhere. So I turned to Eileen, and I asked her if she had one I could borrow. She offered me a pen, to which I politely declined, and I reverted to using my phone for my free write instead, because I always write with pencil. Unless I'm signing my name, an over-choreographed and well-rehearsed act, which often requires the ink of a pen. In these moments of importance, of identifying and affirming, of offering self to another, an object of permanence is asked. My work started as my eyes that are now growing throats to swallow horrors and tongues to whisper thoughts from the brains that process, purge, and produce understanding about what we hear, about what we can't see. And if only my eyes had a taste of what you could see, staring back in my direction, then perhaps I wouldn't need an other's body for my voice and instead could use my own. But my own doesn't own a dictionary of your language, a convoluted vocabulary lost in translation. My body sits in, my volume falls. So I take my statements and make them tall, reshaping them into movement, which may not mean anything but movement in the right direction is a slow current of change. My work started as my eyes that are now growing roots into the grounds on which ideas walk and money runs, where everything I wish to see has already been done. Yet if the roots of these ideas are so long-standing, then I wonder why we still have so much trouble understanding those who write in pencil. In dance or in any soluble artistic language, not only easy to write over, but easy to be erased, seminal scratches of society soon to be effaced, forgotten, or barely remembered. Just to be written again as a new idea, an entertaining addition to the current cultural cacophony. If only dance wrote in pen, building pages for eyes to read between the lines of textbooks of context which become a vortex of nonsense without attachment to the draft before. Where is the meaning of dance if it does not cling to drafts? If it does not soak in sources? If it does not live in bodies, in faces, in places, in hearts? Tell me how I feel before I fail to recognize and forget. Tell me what you see before I cover my ears and believe only my own eyes. What a pitiful demise. That's a lot of thought forgot. To exhaust a blind spot, we ought to plot for thought before we get caught up in a knot of words that sound the same. Who's to blame the pencil, blame the pen. Doesn't matter, do it again with not a shot at being taught because we fought for consistency. Practice makes practice. And I always write with pencil because I'm afraid of permanent mistakes. But are impermanent mistakes just retakes without the small stakes of a pen? Only when I am forced to use a pen do I become more clear about what I say. A clarity that I always find a way to disagree with. My process in pencil leads my availability for mistakes, for learning and for changing, and as everything is changing, I beg myself to laminate the penciled process so that the consciousness of willingness can be remembered in its rawest form. So that when I prepare to be handed a pen, I do not simply write the same thing over and over again. With the most heartfelt gratitude, I thank Advanced Composition for challenging my way of seeing and for challenging me to share my composition through a new medium and to celebrate 4 of my dear friends and colleagues, Eileen Kim, Atticus Dobby, Ryan Fong, and Jonathan Cubedes. Please enjoy the show.